We are live. Good morning. A few technical difficulties this morning. Technical difficulties in terms of my kids don't go back to school until tomorrow. So I'm not going to blame the internet. I'm not going to blame YouTube, Restream. No. This is all survival tactics. And honestly, there was a moment so Lauren's at the gym coaching. I'm getting the kids ready to go to the zoo again for the ninth. Well, actually, it's only the first time in 2026. I'm not going to say how many times it was in 2025 as like a what the hell do we do today last resort. But she's trying to get home from coaching. Whatever. I was like, maybe I'll just reschedule it. Maybe I'll just cancel it. But I mean, this is what it's all about, right? That's what happens to most people's goals in 2026 is something pops up, it's not perfect, it's not ideal, and then you just go back to the stuff that you were doing in 2025 and you just go off the rails. And that's why most people don't achieve their goals. That's why most people don't get what they want out of the year, is because something's going to derail it, right? Like I say, my kids go back to school tomorrow, but flu's going around. So they might be back home by Friday, right? So if my goals are dependent on that and what I want to get out of the year is dependent on stuff like that, then I'm in for a bad year, right? So it's how do you keep going? How do you maintain it? How do you push through? And that's what we're going to be talking about pretty much today is developing your systems, right? Making sure you love your system, making sure you have a backup plan, making sure you still do it no matter what, right? And how many things in your life do you have down that happen no matter what? I suppose that's the main question, right? Like right now, I thought everything was fine and I can hear my wife coming back in. So you think, well, why did I do? But we're going to get something out of the system and keeping the system going. So that's what we're talking about today is maintaining your systems and doing it anyway. Yesterday was the start of baseline week. And again, I had the kids at home. I think I was like, it got to like 1 o'clock and I'd been up since 5 coaching. And then I'd had the kids the whole morning. And I was like, I could just take a nap right now. But I was like, no, it's baseline week. Let's go set that baseline. So I went and I did it, and I've got a score now to compare it to, and I don't have to do the makeup Friday. And today it was, oh, well, I could just reschedule this podcast. But no, this is the system. This is what I do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Even though it's 10:36, I'm going to go live. And that leads into the Ox 100 program, right? I have a team of people that I need to hold me accountable. I know at 1:30, the group that I work out with will be at the gym. So I got to be at the gym and work out. We are doing a podcast every day. My days are Tuesday and Thursday. I need to go live Tuesday and Thursday. And that's just the way it goes, right? So how are you figuring that out in your life? How are you making it so that no matter what's going on, you have a list of things that are your non-negotiables that you've got to get done every day? And I want to say right now, the thing that I tell all the men that come into my program is that if today goes wrong, or if you're out of shape, if you're overweight, if you're not doing what makes you happy, so like say you're not feeling your best, you're kind of depressed, you're kind of overweight, you are not doing the things on a day to day basis that you want to do. I tell everybody when they come in, and I'm telling you right now, just like I'm trying to let myself off the hook today, right? It's not your fault. It's not your fault, right? It's not my fault today that I'm 30 minutes late. But it's not your fault that the food industry have made foods science experiments where they're so addictive and you can't just have one or two of something. They know your tongue better than you know it, so that they know the exact spots that they need to light up that you keep eating that food, right? It's not your fault that the health system is set up in a way that they want to keep you in it, right? They don't want to treat and make you better. They don't want to cure something. They want to just manage it forever. They want you to keep coming back to appointments. They want you to keep taking their drugs, all that stuff. That's not your fault. It's not your fault that the tech industry have made social media so addictive, even though it's way worse than when it's like you used to be able to look at all your friends' stuff. Now you turn on social media and it's just they've got an algorithm that knows what you want to see before you even know you want to see it. And so you could just scroll. I think in some ways they've made it more boring and you're less connected to the people so that you stay on longer, right? Because I think if I was more connected to people, I might be like, I don't want to see all this stuff. So I'm going to, but because you don't know the person, it's just some random video, you just keep scrolling. Again, not your fault. These are some of the smartest people in the world that are working, not necessarily in an evil way, but you're the product. They need you to be there more. They want more of you, right? The food industry wants more of you. The pharma companies want more than you. The tech industry wants more of you. And it's billion-dollar companies with the smartest people in the world trying to get you to spend more money, more time, and more energy on them. And it's not your fault. So does that mean you're off the hook? Does that mean you can just do whatever you want now because it's not your fault? Does that mean you can just be like, it's not my fault. I'm fat, depressed, and that I'm not doing what I want to do with my life because I'm addicted to sugar, technology, and I'm depressed? No, you have to take ownership of that, right? Personal responsibility. It's my fault still that I'm late. It's not my kid's fault. It's not my kid's school's fault. Like, there's plenty of ways that I could have had somebody watching my kids today to make sure that I hit the 10 a.m. thing. But I made a choice and I own that choice, right? And if my kids are going to be sick this week and I don't have a backup plan, then if I miss something this week, again, that's my fault. And I can't just be like, this is not my fault. How long are you going to say that it's not your fault for? And that's what the coaching program is about you set the goals and you set the standards and you set what you want for your life. And then you just have somebody there that said, hey, you said you wanted this. I'm going to hold you accountable to the things that you want. And that's the best thing about coaching. That's the best thing about having a coach, right? Is there's people waiting for you in most classes, especially the morning classes. They know the people that come every day, right? It's the 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. There's a crew there. And that crew kind of holds you accountable. Where were you yesterday? Where were you last week? But having a coach is taking it to the next level where it's someone that's like every single day. They know what you're doing. They're tracking it. They're checking it off, right? And if you don't care about what happens in 2026, you're just going to keep going through the motions. That's completely fine. But if you want something different, if you want your life set up in a way that you're not addicted to all the simple pleasures and you're actually building long-term sustainable habits that are going to get you where you want to be, not necessarily this year, but maybe in 10 years time, then that's what changing your habits can do for you, right? And it seems like you got to make these drastic changes. But honestly, we start so simple. We start so simple. And it seems like, well, if it's so simple, I could do it. Potentially you could do it. Potentially you could do it, right? But you don't have to do it on your own. You can have somebody that's there with you along the way, and they're going to help you when things get hard. They're going to help you set up your life in a way when you like, I can't do this because of this. They're going to start asking you questions about what you can and you can't do. So think about it like that. So I had a question that was sent on Instagram, and somebody said, I've been a member for a gym or Oxfit, for example, for 3 years. Why should I do the coaching program now? I think that's such a great question because one thing I see is some people have a really good base level of fitness, right? If you go to Oxfit, if you, for example, go to Orange Theory, if you go to, F45, stuff like that, you can get this base fitness where you can go for a run, feel pretty good, and you're in a good rhythm and routine. But what's happening is you're not getting the results for the amount of time that you're putting into the gym, right? And so you've got to decide what that looks like. And you've got to decide what results you want. And then we can build the system and the routine and the habits to get you there. And so having a coach and going through this program helps you establish a foundation of 99% of what you do, 99% of the results you get don't happen in the gym, they happen in the kitchen, right? And so that's where we've got to start. Then we've got to build on that. So that leads into this question. And that's a hell of a username at 13 Grassy UK 84. That's a nice username. What do you think is a good diet for women? I mean, that is such a general question, right? What is a good diet? And again, I would throw that back to you and say it all depends on what your goals are, right? So by the fact that you're using the word diet, I would say that means that you're wanting to lose weight, gain muscle, okay? And so eventually the best diet for you, if that is what you want to get to, is to get to a point where you're in enough protein to sustain the goals that you want in terms of muscle building and the body type that you want. And then you're not eating too many carbs and too much fat so that you're finding the consistent way that you can get the results that you want every week, every month. And when you break it down, pretty much every day, right? It's going to just be a daily way that you eat. And in that, it's going to be flexible, right? So most people don't want to eat the same thing every day. I don't mind that. But what I would like to do if I was working with you, for example, and I would love to know your name, is I would take you and find out what your goals are, get to know your body type, get to know your height, weight, all that stuff. And then from there, we build a plan to get you to them results. And we're not going to start right away with you tracking your macros and doing all that stuff. What we're going to do right away is we're going to clear out all the stuff that you don't want. Because when most people come into our program, I hear it all the time. How do you eat? Pretty good. Pretty good, right? And that generalizes to most things when people come in. How do you eat? Pretty good. How's your workout routine? Pretty good. How's your job? Pretty good. How's your relationship? Pretty good. How are you as a parent? Pretty good. And the goal of the Ox 100, if you say it for 100 days, is at the end of 100 days, nothing's pretty good. Everything's great or on the road to where you want it to be great, right? How's your diet? It's great. I eat enough protein every day that I'm gaining muscle. I'm feeling, most people will say toned, right? So I'm losing fat and I'm gaining muscle, which is the toned word that people like to use. So my body's changing. So I'm not just working out and staying exactly the same. So my diet is on point. How's your workout routine? This is what I do 4, 5, 6 times a week. I've built a schedule that works, that I'm getting fitter, stronger, whatever it is, or I'm working towards a marathon. I'm working towards a triathlon. I'm working towards DECA. I'm working towards Hyrox. I've got a goal and my training is going to get me there. So my training is great. My nutrition's great. My training is great. Okay, then what else on top of that? How's your mindset? And that's one thing that we build into Ox 100 program is what are you doing every day to get a positive mindset? Just like if you eat sugar every day, what's going to happen? You're going to get bad output. If you're just scrolling through your phone every day, not paying attention to what you're looking at, if you're just watching the news nonstop, where's your mindset going to be, right? So we build that in. So how's your mindset? It's not going to be, oh, pretty good. How's your relationship with whatever it is that you want to get rid of? Technology. The big one that I deal with a lot is stuff like vaping and nicotine stuff. A lot of the men is like cutting out screen, like just being on a screen and just scrolling. Everybody says that they want to read more, right? When they come in. I don't know if that's true. I just think they just sick of their cell phone. They're sick of mindlessly scrolling. They're sick of streaming services. For a lot of people, how's your relationship? A lot of men that come into my thing is they want to cut out watching pornography. They want to just cut out all the distractions from life and get back to developing relationships, feeling more engaged in their fitness, their nutrition, their relationships, their relationship with their kids. That's what most men come in trying to get. And when you ask most of them, it's pretty good, right? Rashid, I think you're too old, mate. Even though your profile pic is you playing, is that you playing soccer? I'd love to see that pic. It's too small. It's just Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United are you don't want to play for Sheffield United. There's only one team in Sheffield. But yeah, that's the Ox 100 program, right? It's taken you from pretty good, which go and ask somebody today. Go up to somebody today and say, "How's your diet?" They'll say, "It's pretty good. Pretty good." And then you'll just ask one or two questions. Okay, so what do you mean by pretty good? Like, what do you eat on a day? Well, I try and eat salads. I skip breakfast, and on an evening, we cook. We cook something. We're trying to avoid red meat or something like that. And you'll just be like, "That's just a bunch of like media stuff that's been thrown at you that you've just internalized." So I just do whatever it is that I read on Facebook instead of what's your goal and how are you eating towards your goal. Well, I know I need to eat this much protein every day because it's really hard to get that from food. So I take a protein supplement every day. And then I take creatine because I've noticed that it helps me focus. I didn't just throw it in because, oh, I saw a news article about it. It was, well, the next 30 days, the second part of the Ox 100 program, they put in creatine for men. And I noticed because I cut out all the other supplements and was just taking a few, I could feel the impact of it when I took it. And so I'm going to keep taking it. And we've actually got how much we're going to take down to a science, me and my coach. And I know that for my goals, I need to take this much creatine. And then I meal prep 3 days a week. And then on a Thursday, I go to this one place that does these really good bowls that are also high protein because I know I'm going to get bored of my meal prep after 3 days. So on day 4, I know I need to do that. And then on that Friday, actually, that Friday, because work a lot of time has events and stuff, I know that day is going to be my kind of cheat day, I call it. And it's not really a cheat day because all I do is I just eat the lunch and dinner a little bit different because sometimes we have client meetings and things like that. And then on Saturday, actually, because of that day, I tend to have like a fast day. And that fast day helps me. I tried it out for a couple of weeks, and that fast helps me reset. And then I'm back onto my, nutrition for the next week. How many people do you find talking like that? Right. And that's just one example, right? Because it looks different for everybody when we get to the end, because everyone's got a different goal. We don't just give you like a one stop shop, like, everybody try this and see where it gets you to. And so that's kind of the thing that I want you to understand is it's what works for you, what works for your life, right? But that pretty good is not working for anybody. That pretty good is you gaining 5 to 10 pounds every quarter for the next 3 to 5 years. And if you keep doing that, we're going to be in a position where you're in the system then, right? Because you're going to be going to the doctor, you're going to have high blood pressure, you're going to have high cholesterol, you're going to have all these things that they are going to manage for you. And they're going to manage them using medicines for the rest of your life, right? So if you're mid 30s, early 40s, then I'm your coach, right? I want to work with you and I want to get you to a point where everything's good so that you're managing it and you're taking responsibility and accountability for your health and for your fitness. If you're younger than that, if you're in your 20s, like you probably want to work with somebody like Savannah because she's in that phase of life where she's noticed that a bunch of 20-year-olds got their first job and they've just stopped working out. They don't have the habits that they need for this stage of life. They had these college habits. And these college habits are going to lead to most of these people in these positions looking like their boss in 10 years. And if you don't like what your boss looks like, if you don't like the culture of you've gone into the office this week and you said, when I get in the office this week, I'm going to reset everything. When my kids are going back to school This is it. January. I'm back on it. It's dry January. And then you got back in the office and Susan brought donuts on a Tuesday because she's already broke her diet. So screw your diet. And you were like, well, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. It's the first week. Then you're setting them rhythms and you're setting them routines to end up looking like your boss. Get into the position where you're too busy to work out. You're too busy for all this other stuff. That's what the Ox 100 is about. That's why you need a coach, because it's not just sign up for this program and we're going to send you a template and you follow the template. It's what is your life like? How can I help you personally in your life? What does your week look like? When do you want to work out? When do you work out now? When do you want it? What kind of workout person do you want to be? Do you want to be a morning person? Do you want to be a 5 a.m. person? Do you want to be a noon? What do you want it to be? Because that's what we're going to build in. How do you eat now? How can we make it so that you have all the foods you enjoy, take away the foods that are not going to get you to your goals, and still build you a diet, a way of eating that gets you to them goals? What's your mindset like right now? How do you feel every day when you get up? Are you excited to do these things? What are your next goals? What do you want to get better at? What skill every day can you put in that you can get better at so that in the next 5 years, you have a better life, you have a better career? All that stuff is built into the Ox 100 program. And so for me, diet and nutrition are just foundational to that. Why are they foundational, right? The things we were talking about when we first started this, being overweight, not being happy with what you're doing, and not living to your full potential are the things that lead to you being really, really sick. And I hope that in 2026, you woke up and you're in the gym this week and you're really excited about the new year and you've got all these goals and you've got so many goals that you don't know which one to focus on first. Like, I just want you to know that that is such an awesome position to be in. That means that you have a chance to get what you want out of 2026. And I would love to help. And if you don't find someone that can help you get on that path and establish the routines and fall in love with the process of getting there, then you might not get there. And what might happen is in the next 3 to 5 years, it might be really, really unwell. You're going to wake up one new year and you're not going to be able to set them goals because you're going to have one goal. And that one goal is going to be to get healthy again. They say a healthy person has hundreds and thousands of goals, right, each year. But a sick person only has one goal, and that one goal is to be healthy again. Don't wait until it's too late to do that. Hire a coach. I've been doing this now. I just saw a video January, what was it? January 2021. And I was saying, I've been working with people for the last 5 years on this program. And I've been working with people now for 10 years on this program, helping them change their life. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of men, and I've seen what happens when you hire a coach and they hold you accountable to the things that you said. And I get messages all the time from people now that are setting more and more goals and they're ready to go. And 5 years ago, the only thing they did was want to lose 20, 30 pounds. And now it's like, I want to do beach brawl with you guys. I want to do a triathlon with you guys. I want to do high rocks again. I want to do all the DECA thing. I want to do everything you guys are doing this year. And it's all because I start with my nutrition and I start with my health. And now I'm in a position where I'm ready to do all them things. And that's where I want you to be. I want you to be healthy, happy, harder to kill. I want you to be stronger, fitter, all them things, and then ready to crush your goals. So back to that question. What do you think is a good diet for women? I think the best diet is the diet that gets you to your goals. And the only way to find that out is to have somebody ask you the right questions and to establish them now. And then to find a rhythm and a routine that just happens on autopilot. You wake up at the time you want. You go to the gym that, you want to be at. You work out the way that you enjoy. You eat the foods that you like that are going to get you to your goals, not necessarily the foods that you want to eat, but the foods that you like, the foods that are like, I could do this every day, not, oh, I got to do this juice cleanse salad detox again because I lost 5 pounds that I put right back on once I stopped. Or I'm going to start running again. I said it in 2025 and you hate running. That is not logical. That is not going to last, right? Find a way that you enjoy it. That's why you hire a coach. I can work with you and you might say, I don't enjoy the kind of workouts you do. I'll work with you for 100 days to help you find the right kind of workouts that you love. I will work with you for 100 days to get you the nutrition that you want to eat. Like it might not be the way that you think it is. I've worked with people, and this is going to sound crazy right now, but I just want to start changing your life slowly, right? So you come to me at 300 pounds or 350 pounds, which I've worked with some people like that. And I ask you, what are you doing right now? Well, I don't eat breakfast. And then for lunch, I usually go to McDonald's. And then for dinner, I'm either Olive Garden or someplace like that, right? This is people's regular routine, right? You might be shocked by that because it's not been your routine, but everybody doesn't know the things that you know. So what do I do? Okay, all I want you to do is I want you to get a pack of boiled eggs, and um, there's also like microwavable bacon, right? And I want you to do that in the morning for breakfast so that we get a high protein breakfast instead of you skipping it. So you're not starving by lunch. Lunch every day. Okay, so you like to go to burger places and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you go to Five Guys every day. You're not gonna get the fries, and you're gonna get the lettuce wrap burger, and you're just gonna get it with cheese, and you're just gonna get it with bacon, and you're not gonna, you're not gonna eat the fries. You're not gonna eat the bread. Okay, so we're just gonna cut out that bread right there. Okay, you like to go to Olive Garden every day. Okay, so they have a really good salad. So we'll do the salad. We're not gonna do the breadsticks, and then see what other high protein foods they have at Olive Garden. If you can, could you go to somewhere else where maybe they have like a Longhorn or something like that, where they have a steak and they have a salad and maybe a baked potato or a sweet potato, but don't add the sugar on the sweet potato. And let's start that for let's do that for the first 30 days. Now, is that an ideal diet? No, because the cooking oils, all the stuff that, there's all the things that are not ideal from that. But if I right away make you stop eating and go and eat a salad for every meal, even though you hate salads, I've probably lost you in a week. But what if I could show you there's just like two or three things that we've changed? You're still eating burgers every day. You're not having to cook because obviously that's not something that you've ever done before by the way that you eat. And then you come to me a week later and you're like, I've already lost 10 pounds and I feel great. I've had a little bit of a headache from not eating sugar, but I'm starting to feel good. Now I can say, I love it. How can we keep adjusting it so that in 60 days, you're not at these restaurants, but you know that these foods will make you feel better. You know that you've cut out sugar. If we've cut out sugar in 30 days and then I lose you, but you remember that, what's going to change, right? What if I could just get you to stop drinking soda? What if I could just get you to stop eating bread from some of these places where it's just a science experiment? You guys know the bread at these restaurants tastes amazing. Doesn't taste like bread though, right? So what if I could get you to stop eating the bread at them restaurants? What could that do for your life, right? And that's just like small examples. If you come to me and you're 165, 175 pounds, you're training for something and you want to take it to the next level, we got a completely different conversation, right? Now I'm talking about, okay, well, tell me about your diet. Are you eating enough? And now we need to add in certain foods. Maybe, I can make it way simpler for you in them ways that you hit your goals. But there is no good diet for men and for women. right? There's just the right diet for you. And that's why you hire a coach. That's why you don't just Google it. That's why you don't just go and just be like, let me try this diet again, even though you've tried it 5 times. That's why don't say, I'm going to start running again, even though you hate running and it's probably going to last a couple of days. You hire a coach that can show you what you like to do and can ask you the questions to make it set that your week is not pretty good anymore. Your mindset is not pretty good anymore. Your relationships with the people that you love is not pretty good anymore, right? Because what I think pretty good leads to is sick, overweight, depressed, many cases divorced, many cases not having a good relationship with your children, right? And I think that can all start. This is why I own a gym, right? I have a master's in psychology, and I didn't think I could make the impact the same way I know I can make an impact by owning Oxfit and helping you change your life with like 4, 5, 6 different habits and accountability. That's why every time you come into my gym, I care that you showed up, not because of the workouts. The workouts are awesome. The workouts are the best workouts in the world. We spend so many hours making sure that these workouts work to get you strong, fit, and ripped. But because someone's going to ask you your name, somebody's going to know who you are, someone's going to connect with you. That's why I own a gym. The next level of that is hiring me as a coach. The next level of that is hiring Savannah as a coach. The next level of that is you're a mom, is hiring Lauren as a coach. You want to get strong and ripped and jacked this year, you hire Caitlin as a coach. She has gone in the last 3 years from looking like a stick to looking like a beast, right? Like if that's your goal, you just hire her. Strong, fit, ripped, healthy. That's why we own this thing. That's why we show up every day. That's why I didn't skip this podcast at 10:30 because there's somebody watching this that wants to have the best year of their life. There's someone that's tired of saying pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, knowing that it's not good, knowing that you're addicted to your cell phone, knowing that you're addicted to sugar, knowing that you don't enjoy going to that gym with them boring workouts when nobody talks to you and nobody wants to know that you're there and you don't get results. That's why I showed up today. And that's why you need to show up for yourself. That's why you need to hire me as your coach. This is not a game out here, right? At some point, it's going to be too late. At some point, you're going to wake up one year and your only goal is to get healthy. Right now, it's just one of your goals. If it's just one of your goals, then find a coach, hire a coach, and get to your goals. Came in hot this morning. See, glad I jumped on. Hope you have a great Tuesday. And you know my email, ant@ox.fit. Follow me at Ant Oxley on Instagram. 2026 is your year.